here's what I constantly see with the women I work with. They're smart, they're prepared, they've done everything right, and they still walk into a room feeling they have to prove it. I used to think it was about confidence, a communication problem, or a hierarchy problem, but it's not. It's a character problem. Most high-performing women are secretly longing for character number 3, but they're stuck at character number 2, and they don't even know character number 3 exists. Today I'm going to show you all 3 levels and the 2 decisions that let you choose. This video is coming out after the video where I asked you, are you planning for failure or are you planning to succeed? So go watch this video. It's not about the morning. It's about which character you are playing in the room, in the meeting, in every conversation that matters. We got the doer, we got the corporate advisor, and we got the trusted advisor. Let's zoom in on character number 1. That's what I call the doer. And I've been on all 3 levels. Now, sometimes end up being in the doer. When we operate from the doer level, we oftentimes feel exhausted. We oftentimes feel like running behind. We oftentimes end up serving other people or people please, but not really achieving what we want to achieve. The women I see at this level, she gets things done. But what happens when she walks into a room where she doesn't feel seen, respected, she ends up feeling less than her peers, not the trusted advisor. It can also happen in C-suite, and you end up saying yes to tasks that is not really yours to carry, but you say yes because you operate from a default identity. And what happens, you spend time managing other people's energy, standing in the room for approval, and that is so exhausting. If you ever are prepared for a meeting, if you ever stay quiet, even though that what they're discussing is not going to serve the bigger purpose, you are likely in the doer trap. Doer is not a bad character at all, but if you want to unleash your full potential, then you want to get out of the doer trap. Level number 2 is the corporate advisor. We operate from the corporate why. She holds her place, she knows the political game, and she knows how to position herself. But she still is trading her time for money. She still solves the hard question, and she doesn't serve as trusted advisor. People in communication and HR secretly want to be recognized as trusted advice. But the pattern I'm seeing is that she still waits to be confident to speak up. And when the storm hits, she also sometimes ends up being a doer. You can see it a different LinkedIn post that she's longing to be seen as a trusted advisor, but she hasn't taken the space as a trusted advisor. And when real, she may have to reapply for her position. Her position may be downgraded, and that impacts her pride. And again, it's about against. She's playing not to lose, but not to leave either, leaving her ego outside the door. And that she still wants to be right when she is in the wrong. And that level of consciousness or conscious awareness, that tiny distinction makes everything, because she is still waiting for permission to be recognized, to be respected, and to lead. And this is when character number 3 comes in, the trusted advisor. The trusted advisor is where the corporate advisor secretly wants to be. They secretly want to be the trusted advisor, as well as everyone else who really know they have something to bring, some value to bring to the table. Because what I've experienced from my 20 years in corporate is a trusted advisor has nothing to do with the corporate ladder, has nothing to do with here is who you decide to be when you are in that room. And let me double down on that. When I went from a doer and a corporate advisor to a trusted advisor, there was 2 things I decided on. Decision number 1, I decided to leave the ego before we entered the room. I decided and declared that I am beyond worry. I am in that room to serve. That is decision number 1 I made. I'm not in that room to manage my nerves. I'm not in that room to manage anybody else's emotions. I am in that room to serve. It may sound simple, but it requires practice. It's a decision that requires you to turn down the volume of your ego, remember the video where I told I'm planning for success and planning for failure? All the thoughts, that's ego driven. And oftentimes you run on a blueprint that you have inherited from other people. So I decided to leave my inherited blueprint outside the job and really step in and be in that room as a trusted advisor. I'm in the room to serve him or her, to help them again, to help him or her crossing the bridge as fast as possible. That is my job. Calling the facilitator of change. For years, I considered myself as being the change manager. But then everything for me was in that room to be right. But I learned it's not about to be right, it's about being happy. And it's about coming to a goal that is greater than my ego. And what happens is that when you get to the level of a trusted advisor, anxiety leaves your body. You start to be so super focused on the problem, the real problem you're in that room to help solve. And you start to observe what is really going on in the room. And that is a power play very few people are aware of, because it's so consumed about how they feel, even though many people say I'm really good at reading the room, but how good are you at neutral? And then to call out what you observe, and also call the observer effect. And so the second question that I would ask myself is, am I choosing to be in that room? And when it comes to the facilitator of change, I decide to be super specific. Who do I choose to be in that room? Do I go in as Camilla, as a doer, as an executor? Or do I consider myself as a trusted advisor who is here to help this person get from where he or she is to where he or she decides to be? And when you declare to yourself, I want to be a trusted advisor, you get to get out of your own way. You get to ask bolder questions. You get to ask questions and feels uncomfortable. That is the character I show up as. That's a role I want to play. My vision and my passion is to help you accelerate your career, help you go faster from being a doer and strategic advisor to the trusted advisor, where you can breathe, where you can relax, more joys to be in that room, because you help that person see his or her blind spots and uncover what that person really, really wants. Most people know what they want, but very few people know what they really need. And that's tiny distinction. It's the exact gap between the corporate advisor and untrusted advisor. Because the corporate advisor, they act on a break. They never take time out to understand and diagnose what is it that you truly need. And that's why they get stuck. Here's what I want you to understand. This framework only works when you can observe yourself, not from a place of judgment, but from a place of observing. How did I act today? Why didn't I act as a trusted advisor? What was it in me that got me to be a doer? What is the path? Because as I'm teaching my private clients, it's about peeling one layer after the other. It's about identifying the blueprint that you have inherent. That's what it's all about. It's about being so conscious aware of your own default pattern and saying, next time, I want to play a different role. There is a part of you who can watch and feel. Okay, right now, I may end up in the douche, but you can choose not to become her. It's all about choosing and deciding in that moment who you want to be. And there's a part of you who can feel the anxiety in the body just before the meet, but you can decide that fearful thought is not gonna be your dominant thought. It's not gonna run how you show up in that meeting. And those distinctions will help you go from a doer and a corporate advisor to a trusted advisor where you feel more at peace, more relaxed, and more conscious of where what is being said, what is not being said. And then you can help that person go from where he or she is to where he really wants to be. That's powerful. That's what the observer is all about. Trusted advisor is the observer. The trusted advisor calls out, well, this is what I see. Not as with the loudest voice, but with the clearest voice, with integrity coming from a heart to serve. The morning practice I talked about in the last video isn't about a productivity hack. It's all about a daily rehearsal to help you step fast into the role of the facilitator of change and the trusted advisor. Because when you're the trusted advisor, that's when you choose. I'm here to serve. I'm here to observe. I'm here to share what I know, what I see, and I'm here to help you the result that you really, really want. It's nothing to do with me, right? I'm just here to help you solve what you cannot solve alone. And that's where the trusted advisor stands out. So let me ask you again. In the meetings that matters the most, who are you being and who do you want to become? That is the work I do with women at C-level, at senior director level, at VP level, SVP level, because schools have taught us to be workers, but not how to become trusted advisor. And I've done this inner work myself, gone from a doer to become a trusted advisor. So if this speaks to you, book a call because I would love to have a chat to see if I could help you out. Because the room doesn't need your best performance. It needs the clearest presence and advice. And that is already in you. You just have to decide to play her full out. I will see you in the next